What are things that you do in your day-to-day life to get to be so young and 60 years old? Smiling all the time, moving, like dancing, grooving. Yeah.
I want it more than just to come from a small town. Age and work, I don't even say those words anymore. You go and you work for a company that is just going to pay you enough to keep you from quitting. That's where we have actually been duped.
Last year, I stumbled into a small bar in Kobe, Japan, and inside that bar was an African-American man singing his heart out to a bunch of Japanese people. At that very instant, I knew I had to interview this guy. Winz is the youngest 60-year-old I've ever met. In his mid-30s, he was offered the chance to escape his normal life in America and go all in to pursue his dream of being an entertainer in Asia. And the lessons he learned and the journey he's been on since that moment have been some of the most inspiring I've ever heard. So today, Winz shares his greatest life lessons, experiences, and pieces of advice for you.
How old are you?
Last time I checked, they told me I was 60.
So last year we met in a very interesting circumstance.
Yes.
Found you singing your heart out in a bar in Kobe. Out of 1,000+ interviews I've done, I've never been blown away by how poorly I guessed your age.
Oh.
I thought you were 20 years younger. What have you done to feel this young at this age?
Having energy, having a passion for something, and believing that I still could feel 20 years old if I wanted to. I still could jump around. I still could run with children. I still could climb the Empire State Building if that's what I wanted to do. I slowed down. I slowed everything down. It's not a rush anymore, because the rush was what we learned from when we were very young. Hurry up. You need to get ready. Nope, you don't have time. We got to do it now. You got to buy this now. You got to try this now. It may not be tomorrow. You got to do it now. That's where we have actually been duped, to believe that we don't have the time, but we have all the time that we actually need to accomplish so many different things. And when I slowed down, I think my age continues to slow down.
So we're in Japan right now. This is where you live. Tell us a little bit about how that happened.
I grew up in Bakersfield, California. I was in the gospel choir, and I ended up becoming a DJ, and I met a band. They were touring around America, and their sound man was leaving. The band asked me, would you like to join our band? So I ran into this opportunity, and I says, I'm going to accept this without the thought of it failing, but the thought of my dream basically coming true. I'm going to make it come true. In the end, I gravitated to another group, then another, and I ended up getting with an agent who was booking overseas events. So I went to Singapore with the band, and the owner pulled me to the side and said, hey, I'd like to work out a personal deal with you, put together a local band with you. I wanted more. I wanted more than just to come from a small town. I believed that I could jump on a world stage and I could be successful with it. And that's what has brought me to Japan with the same mindset. If I don't try now, I'll never know. If I was going to actually be happy, I couldn't think about work as being the main priority of my life every single day. So I had to overcome that thought, because running around from America to other countries and just working, wait a minute, this is not why I'm here. I didn't come to fail. I didn't come to just work. I came to enjoy. I came to explore. I came to experience. So I had to first change my thoughts and realize that there was much more to life than just work. I don't even use that word anymore. Age and work, I don't even say those words anymore. I had to take them out of my vocabulary because I didn't want to actually have my life defined by those two words.
That was almost 20 years ago, right?
22 years now.
Never look back.
And never look back.
You think most people achieve the goals that they set?
I would say a lot of people reach their dreams, but then again, a lot of dreams die. And it's because when we are trying so hard, we're wanting to change the world. But changing the world is very difficult. If we start by changing ourselves, we do change the world around us. So turn that around and then believe that that dream or that idea that you actually do have, it's going to be tested. It's going to reach moments to where you're going to say, I'm done with this. Nobody believes in me. People are laughing at me. Nobody's supporting me. You're going to have that. Each avenue, each instance, each experience has brought you to where you are today. And that may be why you're seeing this video. This is a moment to where you can reflect on all of those experiences that you've actually had in the past and realize all of those experiences have brought you to where you are today. Where you can go today from here is to set a different course and to rewire yourself in that direction of where you want to be. Look at the value that you can add to other people's life. And that value that you add to other people's life will allow you to make the money that you want to make. Because the more value you're able to add to other people's life, the more they will give to you. Simple. And if you don't take your talents any further than your community, those dreams are just basically suppressed. You go and you work for a company that is just going to pay you enough to keep you from quitting. And you tell yourself that I'm going to get back to this later. Later never comes.
A lot of fire right there. And I burned my face off. It wasn't humid enough.
My friends, back to the video in just a second. It is one thing to listen to the advice you hear on our channel, but are you putting it into action? I'm excited to announce that you can finally learn directly from the people that we interview. I'm dead serious. We have launched an online community called Sprouht Academy, and inside Sprouht Academy, you will be able to learn every single week from some of the oldest and wisest people. They will be here to answer your most pressing questions about how you can live your most fulfilling life. And okay, guess what? If you like what you're hearing from Winz so far, Winz is going to be teaching a call every single week in the community and answering all of the questions that you have. Now, we want to make sure this community is amazing, so we are only opening it up to the first 100 people who click the link below. So if you want to come learn from some of the oldest and wisest people that you see on our channel every single week, click the link below and I will see you on the inside. All right, back to the video.
When something bad happens or some pressure comes, most people fold. How do you build the emotional awareness, the patience, the confidence, belief in yourself to be able to handle situations like that?
I didn't go to another country to fail. So failure for me is not going to be my exit. I would exit because I am no longer existing. But I would say to anyone out there, if you feel that life is a challenge for you, go and travel. Stepping out of your comfort zone is going to rewire you in ways that you'll never experience. I'll tell you an incident that I actually had. I think at that time I was in Japan for about 7 years, and one of my friends who I met in Singapore had done something here in Japan. That incident that he did in Japan was blamed on me. My agent called me and says, Winz, this is the situation. You should probably leave Japan. And I said, why would I want to leave Japan? I didn't do anything. And the very next day, like 8 o'clock in the morning, there was about 20 officials at my hotel door wanting to confront me about this situation. Now, if you're talking about mind-boggling, that was mind-boggling. And it was just a moment where I said, this is an experience to let you know these things can happen. At that point in time, I had even my agent who brought me to the country not believing in me. And that rewiring told me that, no, we're not here to fail. We're here to understand. We're here for experiences. And if others want to challenge you, it's just like the universe. Do you really want it? If you really want it, we're going to test you. This is another test, and you'll pass it.
Most people default to the negative. I feel you have defaulted to the positive, where you say you have not come here to fail. You've come here to succeed. What has been the value of thinking positively in your life?
I guess you could say I had to train myself to get to this point. The more experiences that you have, the more times that you roll the dice, those are just like lifting weights. You're pouring all your heart and soul into so many different things, and a lot of them don't work out for various reasons. But that doesn't mean stop. Nothing means stop. The only stop or limitation that you have are within. If you get out of your own way, you can do anything. I know at some point in time, when the time is right, you will be accepted. I said, if it takes 100 times, I'm going to go through 100 times.
What is a big mistake that you've made or a big regret that you have that you learned a valuable lesson from?
Let's talk about relationships.
Love the way you say that.
I listened to one lady who was speaking. She made a very clear definition of what we as people should expect if we want to have a partner. She said, if you want to have a long-term relationship with someone, if you could see yourself with that person 5-10 years later, and that person never changes, they never change anything about themselves, do you see yourself continuing with that person? If you could, that's great. But if you can't, it's better that you stop now. If you could see yourself being happy and accepting that you didn't try 5-10 years later, and you're okay with that decision, keep moving. But if you're not okay with that, the more regrets you get out of the way going forward, the happier you're going to be, because you can go into every experience knowing that I don't think I want to try that, because that's not something that I want to feel is regrettable in my life. I want to move and gravitate to things that I really, really want to do now, whether it's traveling around the world, whether it's going to the other side of the city, whether it's going to a hotel and saying, I'm going to book a room for myself. I'm not going to let anybody know I'm here. I'm just going to eat all the chocolate that I want to eat, and I'm just going to enjoy myself. Those are things that we should be working on, that we should be focusing on.
What are things that you do in your day-to-day life to feel the way that you feel, to get to be so young and 60 years old? Smiling all the time, moving, like dancing, grooving. Yeah. I mean, what are some things you do? Like, how do we do a little bit more of what you're doing?
I realized that my best asset to help me was talking to myself. I know that it may sound strange, or writing in my diary the things I want to do, the things I've done, the people I've met, my dreams, my setbacks. I had to tell myself, hey, is this what you really want? If this is really what you want, then let me help you. And that person was my future self. And that person is a million people in front of me.
If you could go back in time, knowing what you know today, and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would you say to him?
I'm going to be very proud of you going forward. You don't have to worry. You don't have to feel any regret. You don't have to feel that you're not good enough. You don't have to feel that you're not talented. You don't have to feel that everybody needs to like you. You don't have to feel that going forward, you will look back and you will regret anything that you actually did, because every move that you make, every experience that you have is going to allow you to be in front of this camera with Will, and you're speaking about your dreams, your passions, you're speaking about your future, you're speaking about your situation with Sprouht, and you're realizing that so many people out there are going to be able to benefit from what you are saying. And I think that little guy that was actually in his room listening to Anthony Robbins, listening to Les Brown, Dennis Waitley, all of the motivational speakers when I was a teenager, I think it has gotten me to this point right now. And I would think that that little guy is smiling right now. The purpose for me every single day now is just to wake up and understand that anything that I want to do or anything I want to believe, I can do it. It's not a job. It's not age. Those are only just crutches that are holding us back. And if we eliminate those crutches, the sky's the limit. And is there a limit to the sky? We don't know, but we could find out.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Now, one little reminder, if you've been enjoying the advice you've heard from Winz, Winz is going to be teaching a live call every single week and answering your most pressing questions about how you can live your most fulfilling life inside our online community, Sprouht Academy. If you want to learn from some of the oldest and wisest people directly that you hear and see on our channel every week, click the link below and I will see you on the inside. Thanks again for watching. I will see you in the next one.